Hello students, welcome to Sreenath Academy. In this video, we are going to discuss the chapter which is called Heat from 7th class CBSE Science subject students. Okay, so my name is Karthik Noone. We are creating videos on all chapters, on all subjects from class 6 to class 12. So please do subscribe our channel. Also like and share our videos students. Okay, so without wasting time, we are going to start this session students. So our present chapter name is Heat. Okay students, this is from 7th class science subject. Okay students, okay, now we will see what are the concepts we are going to discuss in this present chapter. After that we will discuss each topic in detail. Okay students, this is our present journey towards this chapter, Heat. Students, if you see, first we will study about hot and cold. So which objects are hot and which objects are cold. And next we will study about measuring temperature. What is meant by temperature and how to measure temperature. And next thing is about laboratory thermometer. And next thing is about transfer of heat, how heat is transferred. And next thing is about kinds of clothes we wear in summer and winter. So which type of clothes we wear in summer and which type of clothes we wear in winter. So this is the whole chapter we are having students. So this is the whole chapter overview students. So now we will discuss this chapter students. So students, in summer and in winter we wear dark clothes, and in summer we wear light clothes. Why? And in summer when you wear light clothes it will feel cool, and winter if you wear dark clothes it will feel warm. So what is the difference, why it does? And in winter in your house, in your room, it is chill, cool, but when you go outside under the sun it is hot, it gives some warm. And the scenario is quite opposite in the case of summer. So in summer when you go out it is very hot, you feel very hot, but when you comes into your house it feels cool. Okay students, so these are the situations where we feel hot and where we feel cold. And one more example is students, so now hot and cold. So if you touch the ice it is very cool, and if you touch the hot tea it is hot. Okay students, so hot and cold, these are the situations. So how do you know which objects are hot and which objects are cold? So then you will say by touching, sir, by the sense of touching. So when you touch the ice it gives you the effect of cold or cool. It is cold, it gives you feel of chill. When you touch the tea which is just which is on the stove and just dropped, it feels, when you touch it it is very hot. So by this phenomena you say, by the senses, by touching we say that some objects are hot and some objects are cool or cold. Okay students, so if you fully dependent on the hot and cold by your sense, it may fools you, it may confuse you. So I will tell you an example. Suppose take a hot water in one beaker, and don't too much hot water students. If you take too much hot water then your skin may get injured. So just a little warm water and little cold water or normal water in another beaker. So put your right hand or one of your hand in hot and one of your hand in cold. So and place for about 5 to 10 minutes and lift your both hands and put both hands. This is the water which is mixed by both hot and cold water. Okay students, this is the cold water and this is the hot water and this is the normal water. So you will get this water by mixing some amount of hot and some amount of cold. So now put your both hands in this beaker. How you will feel? So you will feel one hand is very hot, one hand says so the water is hot, and another hand says the water is cool. But what is the fact students? The fact is they are normal water. but one hand says that water is hot, but another hand says that water is cold. So your hands are confusing you, your hands are making confuse you. So by only the sensation of your touch sense, we can't confirm, we can't decide whether some objects are hot or whether some objects are cold. We can't depend on our sense of touch. Sometimes it may make confuse us. So what we have to do, so how we decide whether an object is hot or whether an object is cold? So we decide whether the object is hot or cold by temperature, students. What it is, if you see here, temperature. So what is meant by temperature? So temperature is nothing but measure of hotness of an object. Measure of hotness of an object is called temperature. So temperature is nothing but measure of hotness of an object. Okay, students, by this is the measure, students. So by knowing the temperature, you can decide whether the object is hot, whether the object is cold. Okay, students, so temperature is measured by a device called thermometer. So if you want to measure the temperature, we want a device to measure it. So that device is thermometer. So thermometer. So thermometer is a device used to measure temperature. Measure temperature. Okay, students, have you understood it? So finally, how hot it is, how cold it is judged, decided by temperature. Temperature is measure of hotness of an body. And how you will measure the temperature? We can measure the temperature using a thermometer. So we can't measure how hot our object is, how cold the object is, just by what? By our senses. So that is thing. So next thing is that, students, measuring temperature. How to measure the temperature? Measuring temperature. Okay, students, how to measure the temperature? So there are some thermometer, students. We will measure the temperature by using thermometer. So there is clinical thermometer, and next thing there is normal thermometer, students. So clinical thermometer. So sometimes you will get fever, you are suffering from fever. Then what happens, students? Your body's temperature will increase, your body will becomes very hot. So on that time, what happens? You went to a doctor, or a doctor comes near you and he will checks your temperature by using a thermometer. So that thermometer is called as clinical thermometer. So clinical thermometer is used to measure the temperature of your body, students. Okay, clinical thermometer is used to measure the temperature of your body. Okay, students, yeah. So this is the clinical thermometer, students. So it has a glass tube, and there is a small glass capillary tube inside it here, and it has a bulb at the end. So this bulb has mercury, students. Up to this level it has mercury. Okay, so and there are scales in it, there are numbers, readings like this, students. Okay, so this is the clinical thermometer which doctor uses to measure your body temperature. Okay, students, so a clinical thermometer consists of a long, narrow and uniform glass tube. So this thermometer consists long, narrow, uniform glass tube, students. So and it has also a bulb. This is the bulb at the end. So this bulb contains mercury. So it has mercury here and some mercury here, students. Okay, if you can't see the mercury thread, what we have to do is take thermometer and shake it, then you will observe the mercury, students. Okay, and if you see, there is a scale also. This is called the scale reading. Okay, students, in that scales, the thermometer is basically having, so clinical thermometer, it has a scale. The scale is degrees centigrade. So this is called as Celsius scale, students. What it is? Celsius scale. So Celsius scale. Some other thermometers will also have Fahrenheit, students. F degrees, which means Fahrenheit temperature. So we can measure the temperature in Celsius case or in Fahrenheit. So normally a clinical thermometer measures the temperature from 35 degrees to 42 degrees. So clinical thermometer measures temperature from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius only. So beyond 42 degrees Celsius, clinical thermometer can't measure. Below 35 degrees Celsius, clinical thermometer can't measure. So this is specially designed for our body only, for our measuring for our body temperature only. Okay, students, so basically our body temperature is between 35, so it is in the range of 35 degrees and 40 degrees Celsius, students. So our body temperature must not go below the 35 degrees temperature and above the 42 degrees Celsius temperature, students. Okay, so but students, there is Fahrenheit also. And sometimes there are Fahrenheit. So the range of Fahrenheit is, that is 94 degrees to 108, students. The range for Fahrenheit is what? That is 94 Fahrenheit to 108 Fahrenheit. So it is our body temperature in terms of Fahrenheit is 94 to 108. So it does not go below 94 and it does not go above 108, students. Okay, so this is the thing. So reading the thermometer. So how to read the thermometer reading, students? So first we have to how to read. So suppose, students, I will show you thermometer. Suppose this is the scenario, students. Suppose here there is 36 and here there is 37. So for 1 degree Celsius, 1 degrees difference, how many lines, small lines are there between these things? So if you have, just find out how many small lines are there. Suppose if you have 10 lines, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 lines, then how what is the degree, what is the reading of each line? So there are 10 lines and how much difference it is? 1 degree Celsius. 1 degree Celsius by 10 degrees. So 1 by 10 is what? That is 0.1 degree Celsius. So each line represents 0.1 degree Celsius. So here that is 30 degrees Celsius. Here 36.1 degrees Celsius. Here that is 36.2 degrees Celsius. Like that, students. Here finally 36.9 degrees. Here that is 37 degrees. Like that, students. Okay. In this way you have to measure. Suppose if it does not having 10 divisions, suppose it is having only 5 divisions between 1 degree Celsius gap, then that is 1 by 5, 1 degree Celsius by 5, then each degree is 0.2 degrees Celsius. Okay, students, like that you have to measure, students. So how to measure? So first, students, first you have to wash the thermometer before you, if you want to check the how much temperature is your body. First you have to wash the thermometer with antiseptic solution. Then only you have to use it and hold it firmly in and give it a few jugs. So first you have to give a few jugs so that its temperature, its mercury already previous reading will be disturbed and it will comes to normal state. So after that and by jerking it, just to make ensure, after jerking, just observe the reading that the mercury level in the capillary tube must be below 35 degrees Celsius only. So after that you have to start measuring your body temperature. So what you have to do, place the bulb. So it is the very important. So this is the bulb, students. Place that bulb under your tongue or under your arms and wait for 1 minute. So then what happens after waiting for 1 minute? Take out the thermometer and see the thermometer and observe the mercury level in the thermometer, how much it has moved. So by observing the and how much it has moved, then make the readings. Read the readings of the thermometer mercury level, so that you will get the temperature of your body. You will get the body temperature. You will get your body temperature. So that should be in the degree Celsius, students. Okay, if you use the thermometer which is degree Celsius. So normally students, the normal temperature of human body is 37 degrees. So it is the one of the important concepts. Normal temperature of human body is 37 degrees, students. Okay, so while checking your your heat, your temperature, check whether it is 37 exactly or not. So obviously it is not exactly 37 degrees, students. It may be below 37 degrees or it may be above 37 degrees. So no problem, students, don't worry. So 37 degrees Celsius is the average value. So there is no rule that everybody must have 37 degrees Celsius. So somehow less than 37 degrees, somehow greater than 37 degrees. But what is the rule is that, students, your body temperature must not goes below 35 degrees, must not goes above 42 degrees. Between these two readings is normal, students. Okay, that is the case. So now you know finally how to what is clinical thermometer and what is the use of clinical thermometer. What is the use of clinical thermometer and how to measure the readings in the case of clinical thermometer, and what is the average temperature, average range of temperature. This is the average range of temperature for our body. Next thing is about laboratory thermometer, students. It is like this. It is the laboratory thermometer. Okay, students. Now we'll discuss about laboratory thermometer. So it is also a thermometer. It is also used for measuring the temperature only. So but it is for laboratory purpose. Its purpose is different. So previously using the clinical thermometer, you can measure between 35 degrees and 42 degrees. But using it, you can measure from minus 10 degrees to 110 degrees, students. So you can measure from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius using this laboratory thermometer, students. Okay, that is the thing. So it is like, looks like this, students. Okay, so now what you have to do is, so take some water, in a cool water in a beaker, and place this thermometer in this cool water. Then observe the reading and observe the reading, note the reading, just as like you have done in the previous clinical thermometer. Then you will get the temperature of this water. After that, what you have to do, pour hot water in it. So again place the thermometer and see that the mercury level in the thermometer will goes on increases. It will goes on increases. So then what you have to do, you have to measure the temperature. So what you will do, you will remove it from the hot water beaker. Then what happens, you will remove it from the hot water beaker and you will try to measure or observe the thermometer reading. But you will see that when the time you are removing it from it, what happens, the mercury will falls off. But whenever when you using clinical thermometer, when you have put it under your tongue, so you have removed out of your tongue and measured, the mercury level is not disturbed. But in the case of laboratory thermometer, friends, that whenever you remove it from the hot water or whatever the substance it is, its mercury level suddenly falls off. So you can't measure the what is the temperature of hot water. Then how can we use this, students? So one thing is, you have to measure the mercury level reading. You have to measure the temperature. Temperature by what? By observing it when it is in the hot water. So after removing and measuring is difficult. We can't do it. So we have to measure when it is in the beaker only. Okay, students. So this is the case. So why so you may get some doubts, friends. Sir, why this laboratory thermometer is laboratory thermometer temperature is suddenly decreased, which means its mercury level is falls off whenever you are removing it from the object, but clinical thermometer does not decreases its mercury level. Why this is, sir? So this is because of this kink at the end of the clinical thermometer, friends. Okay, so what happens, this is opposing the mercury to not to fall down. Actually in the what laboratory thermometer it is falling, but in the clinical thermometer it is not falling. Which is opposing it, or which is it stopping it to not to fall? That is the kink in it. So this will stops not to fall it, so that we can measure the thermometer, we can measure the temperature, students. Okay, so nowadays students, due to lack of mercury, so basically in the clinical thermometers and in the laboratory thermometers, which is goes rising and decreasing, that is mercury, and that mercury is a liquid, and that mercury is somewhat toxic substance. So that's why nowadays we are using digital thermometer, students. Okay, these are lookalikes, so they will readily give the temperature on the digital board, so no problem to look off for mercury. So next thing is about, students, that is transfer of heat. So how heat will be transferred? Okay, students, we will study about this. Suppose, students, you may suppose you have observed sometimes frying pan becomes hot. So when there is a frying pan, when it is just dipped, or when it is just taken out from the flame or the stove, what happens? If you touch the frying pan at metal area, at any area, it is very hot, it will may burn you. But whenever you touch its handle, which is made by plastic, so it does not touches you. Okay, students, so before we are putting the this pan on the stove, the metal plate or the whole pan is not hot, but after putting on it, after cooking on it, after removing it, what happens? That frying pan is becoming hot. What happens? What is the difference between before and after? So before it is not hot, but after placing on it, we have placing on it on heat, fire. So that fire, that heat is transferred to the frying pan. So that's why that frying pan is becomes very hot. So heat is transferred from the heat is transferred from the fire to the frying pan. That's why it is very hot. But when you touches it, the plastic, it does not hot. Why? Because that heat is not transferred through the plastic, but heat is transferred through the metal or any non-stick area, that is. And whenever you take it from stove and place for 10 minutes or for 20 minutes in surroundings, what happens? After some time it will cool down. So what happening? Where the heat going on? So the heat of the frying pan is going into the its surrounding. So that heat is transferred here, students. Okay, first from it is the fire, from the fire it is the pan. So from the fire to heat is transferred to the pan, and when you lift off it and placed for sometimes after it sometimes what happens? Again the heat has coming out and moved, transferred into the surroundings. So here it is transferred into the pan, and it is transferred from pan to outside. So this is the situation, students. So finally what we can say is heat is transferred. Heat will be transferred. Heat flows from hotter object to a colder object. Heat will flows from hotter object to colder objects. So this is the thing you can say, students. Okay, and we will do some experiments. So take 2 bricks and take some metal strip and place the wax at equal distances and place it under a candle. So that what happens? So this end will becomes heat. So when observe what happens. So what happens? The waxes will come down. So which one will come down? This will come down first, or this will come down first? Obviously this will come down first. So what happens? Here, due to this candle, this end is heated and it becomes hot, and heat is transferred along this direction, and due to this also transferred along this direction. So that heat is transferred from hot end to cold end. So in this way heat transfer, here the wax will come down, again heat comes here, wax will come down, heat transfer, wax will come down. So that what happens, students? So that heat is transferred from hot end to cold end. So the process by which heat is transferred, the process by which heat is transferred from hotter end to colder end is called as what? Conduction, students. So we will write the definition of conduction. So conduction means what, students? Conduction is nothing but process of transfer of heat. Heat will transfer from one end to another end. Transfer of heat from hotter end to colder end. So that process is called as conduction, students. Okay, this is in solids. So suppose we take a beaker and we have put it hot water and we have put some of the things we have around it. So just touch each thing, what you will observe. So some objects will become hot, will feels you hot, some will feels you cold. Why? So basically there is hot water, so one end of it is at hot. So if you take this spoon, what happens? This hot water, so at one end it is hotter and that heat is transferred throughout the spoon. That's why you will get the heat transferred to the other end. That's why you will feel hot. But about pencil, about plastic scale, that heat is not transferred through the other end. That's why it does not feel hot. So we observe that some objects will allow heat to flow and some objects will does not allow heat to flow. So the objects which allow heat to flow are called as what? Conductors. Conductors of heat. So the materials which allow heat to pass called conductors. So what is meant by conductors? Conductors are nothing but material strengths. So steel is a conductor. So metal is a conductor. Okay, students. So materials which allow heat to pass through them are conductors. Through them easily are called conductors. Okay, students, not conductors in the bus. So conductors in the bus allows you to travel throughout the cities. So here these conductors allows heat to, conductors of heat allows heat to pass through them. So steel is a conductor, students. Like examples are what? Iron, copper and aluminium. So these are the examples, students. Examples of conductors. Then what about iron is example? Okay, students. Copper is also example. And what about insulators, students? Insulators is another materials. So some materials which does not allow heat to pass through them, does not allow transfer of heat. So here plastic scale does not allow, pencil does not allow. So materials which do not allow heat transfer through them called insulators. Okay, students. And one more thing here is that, students, water and air are what? Water and air are poor conductors. They are conductors, but they are not good conductors of heat. They are poor conductors of heat, students. So then if they are poor conductors, how the heat transfer is going on in the case of water and in the case of air? We will see it. So now take a round bottomed flask, students. Take flask like this and heat it. Take water in it and take some solution. That solution is potassium permanganate. Place a crystal of potassium permanganate and water and heat it. So what happens? First the water at the bottom will get heated up. They will get heat. Okay, they will become hotter, and that hot water moves upside and the cold water on the top side will goes downside. So again the water will becomes heat. Again the hot water will moves upside and again the cold water will becomes downside. So this process will goes on until the whole water becomes hotter. So the process continues till the whole water gets heated. So this mode of heat transfer is called as convection, students. This is called as convection. So what happens after the water heats? Now observe the flame. So basically the flame is here and the air around the flame, what happens? It will becomes hotter. It will gets heated up. And what happens? It will gets heated up. It will goes away, and the cold air in the surroundings will come in the place of that. And again that cold air will heat up, and again it goes up outside, and again cold air will come. So if you want to observe it clearly, more clearly, do this example. So place your hands on upside of the candle and side on the candle. What happens? The air which is at this area, what happens? It feels hot. Why? The air surrounding it becomes heated. It goes to fly up, and what happens as the air around it is goes up, so that place is replaced by the air which is surroundings. So surrounding airs will come and near the flame, and again it also get heated up, and again it also goes like that. Air is heated, like that water is heated. Okay students, and sometimes the people living in coastal areas will observe some interesting phenomena students. So what happens during the day, what happens during the day, what happens students? So land and water, so this is the sea now. So this land is heated up very faster than the water during the day. So what happens whenever the land is heated up very fast, so the air above the ground is heated, so this hot air is replaced by the cold air which is above the water. So this cold air comes towards the land and replace this hot air, and this hot air will goes into the sea. This cycle goes like this. So the air which is coming from sea to the land is called as sea breeze. Okay students, so whenever you are living in the coastal areas, and if you want to get the cold air, sea breeze, your windows must be faced towards the sea students, and this is the daytime, and in the night time the process gets reversed. So what happens in the night times? Trees, and in the coastal, so at night it is exactly reverse. So water cools down more slowly, so water will cools down more slowly, but land will becomes cool suddenly. So whenever it is cold, it is not cooled, it takes some time, so it is somewhat hot. So due to somewhat hot air here, what happens? The air which is cold air is moves from land to sea. So this is called as land breeze. So this is occurs in the case of coastal areas. In the daytime sea breeze, in the night time land breeze will occur students. Okay, and that is the thing students. So this is the scenario. In the daytime what happens? Air will comes onto the land. In the night time air will goes off into the into the sea. Cold air, so cold air comes into land. Here cold air comes into ground. So these are the phenomena students. And one more thing is students, so when you goes out in a day, what happens? You will feel very hot. So how you feel hot? That temperature, that heat from sun is from the sun, the heat comes to us by another process. So from the sun the heat is transferred to us by another process. Why? Because there is no medium like air or water between sun and us. There is some vacuum also. So even there is a vacuum, the heat is flowing from sun to us. That's why we feel here hot in the summer. So that process is called as, that process of transfer of heat is called as radiation students. So transfer of heat by radiation does not require any medium. So one more thing is, radiation is another process of heat transfer. It does not require any medium. Does not require any medium students. Any medium. It does not require any medium. It can. So that is the thing students. Okay. So next thing is kind of clothes we wear in summer and winter. So students, in summer we wear some type of clothes. In winter we wear some type of clothes. In the case of winter, what we will do? We will wear dark colored clothes, and in the summer we will wear light colored clothes. Why dark colored in the winter and why light colored in the summer? Suppose if you wear dark colored clothes in the summer, then you will have more and more sweat. You will feel more hot. But when you wear this dark colored clothes in the winter, you will feel warm. The surrounding air and the surrounding is cool, but whenever you are wearing this dark clothes, you will feel somewhat warm. And when you wear a light colored clothes in the summer, the surroundings is hot, but whenever you are wearing the light colored clothes, you will feel some coolness. Okay students, that is the thing. So, and there is experiment for you. So pour what happens students? So pour some water in the black colored tin and pour some another water in the white colored tin. Okay students, so or I simply pour hot water in both the instruments and leave them in a room, and after come to them after 10 minutes or 50 minutes, what you will observe? So this is so which will becomes more cool, which will becomes more cool? So obviously this will becomes more cool, students. Why? Because that black color will radiates heat, but white color reflects heat. So due to this black, this radiates heat, and this radiates, this sends out heat. That's why this temperature is easily gone outside, the temperature is decreased. But this white color will always what it will do, it will reflects. So that is the reason, if in the summer, mid-summer, if you wear the black color clothes, so all the heat from the outside will enter into your body. But if you wear a white color clothes, all the heat from outside will not go into your body. Some heat will be reflected. So that is the reason our grandfathers will wear always white clothes, so to become some cool. Okay, students. So white, just remember, white color reflects the heat, reflects the light like that, students. But black color, what it will do? It will absorbs, and it will easily radiate. Okay, students. So woolen clothes, wearing the woolen clothes keeps us warm. It feels some warm in the winter. So why? Because wool, it is a poor conductor of heat. It is a poor conductor of heat. It does not allow heat to goes on. That's why it does not allow to goes on. That's why we will feel that heat is trapped here. That's why we will feel somewhat warm, students. Okay, that is the thing, students. So finally our chapter is completed, students. Okay, our chapter is completed. Okay, students. Now we will see summary, students. So heat in this subject, students, hot and cold. How you will know whether which is hot or cold? So by our touch sensation we can say, but only depending on the touch sensation we can't say whether an object is hot or cold. So how we can decide hot or cold is by temperature. Temperature is a measure of hotness of an object, students. Okay, to measure the temperature we need thermometers. There is clinical thermometer, students. So thermometer is a device to measure temperature, and in the thermometers there is clinical thermometer. So that is specially to measure the temperature of our body, and the range of the thermometer, clinical thermometer, is 35 degrees to 45 degrees to 2 degrees only, and our body temperature must be between this range only. So it does not goes below, or it does not goes above. If it goes below or if it goes above, it is very dangerous to us. So next thing is laboratory thermometer, students. So the normal temperature of a human body is 37 degrees Celsius, students. Okay, next thing is laboratory thermometer. So using the laboratory thermometer we can measure from -10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius temperature, students. Okay, in the laboratory thermometer, students, there is no clink. That's why we have to measure the temperature when it is in contact with the hot body. So when there is no contact, the mercury level will suddenly falls off. Okay, students, but there is a clink in the in the clinical thermometer. That's why mercury level will not flies off. Next thing is nowadays digital thermometers will come, and next is transfer of heat. So heat will transfer from hotter object to colder object. The process of transfer of heat from hotter end to colder end is called conduction, students. Okay, conduction means process of transfer of heat from hotter end to colder end. Next thing is conductors. Conductors are the materials which allows heat to pass through them. So examples are iron and copper. If you see here, conductors. And next thing is insulators. So what are insulators? Insulators are materials which do not allow heat. Okay, students. And water and air are pooled conductors, students. Okay, how water is heated up, that is in the process of convection. So bottom water will heat first, it will goes up, and next cold water comes down and it also heat up. That process is called convection, students. Okay, next thing we will observe in the case of coastal areas, that is sea bridge and land bridge. So in the case of daytime, what happens? Sea bridge will come, air from sea comes to the land. In the case of night time, air from land goes into the sea. Okay, students, that is, and from sun to us the heat is transferring, the process called radiation. Next thing is kind of clothes we wear in summer. So basically we wear woolen dark colored coats to keep warm, and light colored coats to keep cool, students. Okay, and white color will reflects the heat and black color will absorbs the heat. So dark colors will absorbs the heat. Okay, students, that is the thing. So finally our chapter is completed, students. Hope you have understood. Our summary is also completed, students. So don't forget to subscribe Sreenath Academy YouTube channel. Also like our videos, share our videos. Have a nice day. Keep smiling. Bye bye, students.